I'm sure you caught it yesterday because it was on the national news. Mr. Obama, now, who is, by the way, the CEO of General Motors, Chrysler, will be the head of all the banks and the healthcare system. The government, you'll be working for them. And Mr. Obama said on yesterday, he said every company that has been bailed out by the United States government, we are requiring that they cut the salary of their top people by 90%. Oh, my goodness, folks. When you start working for the government, you haven't seen such a mess in your life. Before the election,
and they're setting the precedent. They're setting the precedent with the rich guys who are really just mid-level managers, not the big billionaire shareholders. They won't be touched. They're setting the precedent for wage controls on all of us and under the executive orders taking over our society. Lindsey Williams, stay there. We'll go right to the timeline with you in the next segment. Then we're going to phone calls at 1-800-259-9231. I'm Alex Jones. This is the GCN Radio Network. Our websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Or 800-691-6043. Okay, Lindsey Williams, continue. This is a short segment, long segment coming up, but continue going down the timeline that this insider, this former oil company CEO, the inside information he gave you.
Yes, consider, everybody out there listening, audience, I beg of you, consider that this is from the elitists themselves, from the inner core, people who know at the very top what's taking place. He used an expression that I am still stunned by, and I'll explain it more later if we have time. The devil's Messiah. He is not talking about the Antichrist. He's not talking about a man that will appear on the scene. He's talking about a system, a spirit that they have used over the years to accomplish what they want. Okay, let me go into their schedule in chronological order. This will amaze you, but I'll try my best if I can here to give it to you. They have, over the next 2 years, a schedule for their timeline, and if you will write this down on your calendar and note it, you will be able to follow exactly where they are and what they're doing. Here we go. The elite do have a code of ethics. Now, folks, don't think that these people are atheists. They're not. They don't have the same Bible you and I have, but they are not. They're not atheists. Let me go on. Okay, first of all, the movie Oil Storm. You remember that they must tell you everything that they're going to do before they do it. And you will be able to know everything that the elite are going to do over the next 2 years if you watch their timeline. Just before Katrina hit New Orleans, they came out with a movie 2 weeks prior to that entitled Oil Storm. And in it, everybody thought, well, this is just some nice little something that they're putting out here on the national news. But in Oil Storm, very few people realized that, until afterwards, that everything that happened with Katrina and New Orleans was in the movie Oil Storm. Now, that's exactly what you will find them doing over the next 2 years' time. Watch the war movies coming out of Hollywood. Please, I beg of you. We talked about this. They are going to tell you what they're going to do. You have war planned in a little over 2 years in the Middle East. It'll spread to the entire world. They already have it in the works. Watch Hollywood. The national media is their mouthpiece. Hollywood is their perversion. They have offered you baseball, apple pie, and beer in order to keep you quiet. You can't stay quiet. Folks, you've got to do something. You must take action immediately. Alex, your new movie is fabulous. It's got to get to millions and millions of people across America. Listen to their buzzwords. Many of you will remember the times that Alex has given me the privilege of appearing on his show in the past that I have said that one of the first things I learned years ago when I lived with the elite for 3 years was I learned to listen to their buzzwords. Watch for the following, because he used these buzzwords in the course of the conversation. First of all, you will have a big increase in the stock market. It's going to keep going up and up and up and up. Watch out. It's nothing but a trap. All of you senior citizens, you're not making much out of Social Security. You've lost your pensions. Your 501s and all the rest of them are going haywire. You're losing money. You turn around and invest in the stock market because it's going up. It's a trap. Watch out. It's going to go up and up and up, and at the very end, you will lose everything. Again,
did he say how high it would go?
He did not say how high, and I should ask him. Next time I talk to him, I'll try to see if I can. Gold and silver. I've got to punctuate this again. He said gold and silver is the only thing that you can depend on, and the price will escalate rapidly. Gold never changes value. The only thing that changes value is the stupid paper Federal Reserve note, and they don't use it. They know that it's a total joke, and they can pull the rug out from underneath the Federal Reserve note anytime they want to, and believe you me, they will. 1 ounce of gold would have bought a suit back in 1960. Today in 2000, 1 ounce of gold will still buy.
All right, Lindsey, let's finish up with the timeline. Boom, 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 we get back. Then we're going to go to phone calls and let folks actually ask you questions themselves straight ahead. Again, I'm Alex Jones. We're talking to Chaplain Pastor Lindsey Williams. And we'll continue this important discussion on the other side. Stay with us. All right, Lindsey Williams, 18 months ago or longer, he comes on and says it's going to go from 150 to below 50 for at least a year. People laughed at him. But I know he has these sources. I know he's been accurate in the past. Here he is with even more information. Lindsey, before we finish up with the timeline and go to calls, and I want to hurry here because I do want to get to calls. We appreciate you coming on. We may even do another part next week if you can do it. Could he be planting disinfo on you, giving you good info a year and a half ago, now to give you bad info? Could he be mistaken, and could the establishment know he's leaking info and have made him a honeypot with bad info for you now? How do you respond to that?
At 85 years of age, facing the graveyard, nearly died last winter. Would you want to lie to a chaplain who is probably the only man of his kind that you've ever met? In 35 years' time, these people, and there's more than one involved in this. I cross-reference, by the way. You said early in the program, I know who these people are. Well, you and Dr. Stan Monteith do, because one of them, Dr. Stan Monteith, contacted one time. And I cross-reference. I'll call one, talk with him. I'll call another one, talk with him. For 35 years, he has never lied to me yet. And I've never made a wrong prediction based on what he said in 35 years. When he said,
well, I mean, when did you write your Energy Non-Crisis? That was 20-something years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was actually about 25 years ago. So,
well, I mean, the issue is, in that book, you say there's really giant reserves of sweet and near sweet crude. You list the areas, and then decades later, it's come out mainstream news here and there that you were telling the truth, and they've got agreements not to ship that oil with the Arabs. But regardless, I believe you're credible. I know you're credible. I just wanted to ask that question because I've been asked that. Quickly, finish the timeline. I want to go to calls. Okay, let's go to a timeline here. First of all, bank takeovers. Watch out. I was told that within 2 years, nearly everyone will be working for the federal government. They want to take over every bank. Nearly every weekend, you'll see 5, 10 banks being taken over. They'll do it in the Northeast this weekend, Southwest next weekend. They don't want you to know and realize what's happening. They're going to narrow it down to 9 major banks. Those will be so bailed out by the government that everybody that works for a bank, including the CEOs, will be employees of the federal government within 2 years. Watch the number of bankruptcies. You're going to see them increase drastically when it gets to the point that it is literally absurd. And you'll see it in the newspapers every weekend. How many took place in your city or your state? Watch it, because it'll toward the end, you will see this get to a point where you'll recognize where their timeline is. Access to safety deposit boxes. Oh, folks, please, if you buy that gold, don't put it in your safety deposit box. You've got to hear what I have to say about that and what he did later. Wait a minute. He said they're going to raid the safety deposit boxes.
Movies in Hollywood, what they produce, watch it. They are going to tell you what they're doing out of the Hollywood movie. I don't like the Hollywood movies. They're perverse.
He said that. He said they're predictive programming or conditioning us or preparing us.
Yeah, they're going to tell you everything they're going to do in advance through the movies that are coming out of Hollywood. And then watch the pace of inflation. This is one of the greatest timelines you can possibly have. When you see inflation begin to escalate extremely rapidly, this is it. Now, you saw it. You saw it within the past few days. The standard currency of the world is crude oil. You'll remember I've used that expression many times over the past few years. Within 2 years, he said, there are going to be some major things in relation to this. OPEC just a few days ago said oil-producing countries of the world, we are not going to use the American dollar anymore. It is not the reserve currency of the world any longer. And whenever you listen, all original wealth comes out of the ground. Oil comes out of the ground. Gold comes out of the ground.
Food.
They know where original wealth is. And when you begin to see other currencies used beside the American dollar, which they're already doing it, and it will totally destroy the value of the American dollar.